The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Rebecca with the WFIA. As always, we begin with everyone in listen-only mode, but there's going to be definitely some opportunities today to get some feedback from you all, so I will be unmuting everyone. So please make sure that you click on the mute button on your end so that when I do that, we're not getting background noise. If you have questions, you can always type them into the question panel or do the raise hand button so that I know you want to speak. And with that, I will give it over to Jan.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jan G., President and CEO of your association. We're so glad you've joined us today. We have several new items we want to chat about. And more importantly, we want to, after we cover these updates, hear what other kinds of issues you're facing that we can help you with. I would like to go ahead and start with the fact that the counties are moving quickly into phase 3. We've got a map that we're putting up here that shows phase 1, 2, 3, and none in 4 yet. But so as those counties move through the different phases, then some of the requirements change. And we were told today that the governor's office is doing some revisions on phase 2 and phase 3, but we have not seen those yet. We do know they intend to incorporate the opening of the salad, soup bars, bulk foods, the information that we gave you last week that we didn't have in an official document form, that they're incorporating that into the documents formally. But you are able at this time to open those salad and hot bars, bulk foods with scoops. However, we have heard rumor today also from the Department of Health that Snohomish County may be looking at not allowing that, but we do not know that for sure. One of the things we wanted to make sure we reminded you of is if you're in a county that has moved to phase 3, that there is that checklist, and it's posted on our website. Becca, go back over to our website, and we always have to have Melissa or Kat help us read where it's posted, but I believe it's under the reopening section that it's a phase 3 checklist. It's a pretty simple checklist that you just go through and mark that you've done those. Yes, it is. There it is for you. So if you have transitioned to phase 3 or about to, let's see, we got word today that Kittitas has been approved for phase 3. We've handwritten the update on the map. Thank you, Rebecca, because the new map hasn't been published yet. I would like to talk a little bit about Department of Health. WIC called this week, and federal government is asking the state departments if the waivers on WIC need to be extended. So that would be the waivers we had on inventory and then some of the core products. We had problems with milk and beans, some of those core products we had to get a waiver on to be able to provide alternatives. I have not heard back from any of our members that we have issues with any of those required items. And I do need to know that if you are having an issue and I need to know that pretty quickly because I told them I was not aware of it, but I would ask. I just was on a federal call and heard that some states are still experiencing a shortage in packaged beans. And I know for those of you, especially in Hispanic communities, you go through a lot of beans. So if you're experiencing any shortages in inventory on any required WIC items, please email me immediately and give me specifics on those items so I can work with our Department of Health to extend the waiver where needed. Otherwise, it will expire on June 30th and you will be subject to inventory inspections again. And as always, we have members that bring up the most unusual issues for us. So once the mandatory mask requirement came down from Labor and Industries, and you are subject to a $9,600 fine if your employees are not wearing masks, then one of the employees at one of the stores, and I guess there were several others that were standing on the sidelines waiting to maybe declare the same, is it's my civil right not to wear a mask. So we were caught in between you staying within the law as laid down by Labor and Industries, or firing a person and them being eligible for UI. So we worked with Labor and Industries and Employment Security, and you'll see under new this week, civil rights, UI, and mass. So the two agencies worked together with us and gave us a pretty solid foundation that if you have an employee that declares their civil right, make sure, of course, on any type of warning that you give them a warning in writing that you as an employer are mandated to provide and require PPE masks, and that you as an employer are subject to a penalty if all employees that don't have a medical exemption are not wearing masks. And then we have the information down below this that talks, it's highlighted on this document. Employment Security raised a number of issues that you can put within that document as a written notice to your employees that it would be a violation of, and there. And so that they know right off the bat that you're going to fight them on any unemployment insurance claim if they are declaring what is considered, at least at this point, a frivolous claim of civil liberties. And that's a whole nother issue. But the information is right there for you. If you are, as an employer, like one of our other employers was, is confronted by this issue, or if they come up with any other kind of issue, it gives you the information about UI. The other thing that we wanted to talk about today is a coin shortage, and we sent notice out on that last week. Our FMI, our national organization, this morning had a phone call with the federal, whatever you call it, now I've forgotten, that make the money. Well, actually, they're storing it. And they have made clear that there is not going to be any near-term relief on the coin shortage, and that they have already more than released what they usually do on their reserves and that they're just not getting any coins back, that their banks are not getting coins back. So it is almost at a crisis situation, and you're not going to be seeing relief down anytime in the near future. And if you have any suggestions on how we can help with that issue, the only thing we could recommend to you last week was that you put a sign up that declaring that there is a coin shortage, and could customers please try to use exact change where possible. Fortunate for you, most of your customers use cards, but we do know that there are occasions that you do need coins. That's my updates, and I'm going to turn it over to Tammy that's going to cover some topics for us.
Okay, thank you, Jan. So I received a call from the governor's office this morning, and they let me know that the governor will be doing a press conference here in about 3 o'clock in a little over 15 minutes. He is going to do a statewide public health directive on wearing masks. So it will not be a requirement, but a directive. However, in Yakima, there's also going to be UFCW and Costco's CEO with him, and they are going to make the mask a requirement in Yakima. And there will be, we're thinking penalties. We don't know the details yet. They're still working on it. You know, we've stressed again that we do not want to be the enforcers of any required mask. You know, that we need signage, and we need them to really step up on this. And unfortunately, you know, we don't know how much sheriff support we can get in Yakima. So these are all things that we've asked them to please look into, because we need that support. So they are working on it. We're expecting that this will possibly be effective on Friday, and that we'll have additional details. I do have some of our members on the phone. This has been in effect in San Juan County and Jefferson County for some time. And I don't know if they could speak a little to kind of what they've done and how they've implemented some of these programs. I know, you know, if we can help you gear up on masks, that's going to be important. But if you want to unmute Rebecca, and we can get.
Hi, this is Sandy Rowe up in San Juan County.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been requiring our employees to wear masks, oh gosh, since the first part of May. And San Juan County has a directive that all employees in the county are supposed to wear masks to help customers, or, you know, in the bank and any establishment in town. And, you know, we're a pretty protected area. You have to take the ferry to get here. And so most of the residents do a pretty good job. We have 2 grocery stores, and at the front door and one store we have a back door. So we have someone that sits out there and, you know, lets customers know that it's a requirement to have a mask on to go into the store. We've been giving a lot of masks out, and now that there's advertising on the radio saying San Juan County is open, we've been giving a lot more masks out, because they're not saying that there's stipulations and that there's requirements to follow for the COVID-19. So it's been going pretty well. We have one employee that won't wear a mask, so she's using sick leave and vacation to get through this time while she figures out what to do next. And then we've had one customer that we had to call the sheriff's office on. She wore the mask into the store, shopping with her children, took it off and refused to put it back on to check out her groceries, and caused a big stink. So she has now been banned from both stores for not abiding by the county laws and, you know, the rules of the store. So it's gone pretty well so far.
And Sandy, you have a penalty tied to yours as well, do you not?
We do. I'm not sure what the county penalty is, but yeah, our county has somewhat stricter rules than the state rules are, just to kind of protect the county because there's a lot of older folks on the island, and so we're trying to keep it safe, encouraging people not to travel unless it's an essential thing on the ferries. But now things are opening back up, and tomorrow our county health advisor is more than likely going to try and get us to move to phase 3. We had 3 new cases last week, and they're waiting for all of the contact tracing people that have been tested, all their results to come back before they put this to the vote of the county council. So things could change tomorrow again for us too.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anyone else up in one of those counties that wants to talk about how they've been doing on this? Okay. Well, I know it was somewhat short notice, but like I said, oh yeah.
Darren is on the line, and he has been unmuted a couple times. Let's see. There, he's unmuted. Darren, have you unmuted on your end? Oops. He must be using 2 speakers, unfortunately.
This is Angie over on Orcas Island in
hi,
San Juan County. Hi.
Yeah.
So we are, in the same boat as San Juan Island, where we have the requirement of all businesses, all retail establishments must have their employees and anybody entering the facility wearing a mask. We did a lot of signage outside. The county also provided signage for businesses to use in case they didn't have their own or didn't want to create their own. And we really haven't had a whole lot of issues with it. We have masks available at the front of our store. The cashiers are just kind of, the way our store is set up, our cashiers are kind of keeping an eye out to see if anybody comes in without a mask. And then they're approaching them and saying, hey, can I get you a mask? And most of everybody has been just fine, saying, yes, please, I need one, and wearing it throughout the store. There's been, I think, one occasion where the person took off the mask and didn't put it back on. It happened to be late at night, so sheriffs weren't called or anything like that. But during the day, if we did have that kind of a situation, we would hopefully get some backup there as far as, we're trying to comply also.
Good. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. That does Oh,
I was just going to say, Kenna Eaton has her hand up.
Yep, and I started coughing all at the same time. Oh, sorry. So it is required in Jefferson County. We have signage up that just says masks required in Jefferson County. Don't have one, please ask. Directing people to our customer service desk. I think, it's about 99% compliance. And always there are those people who claim they can't wear one because of some health regulation or advisement by their provider. And that causes a lot of our other customers to be really upset. So it is not enforced right now, but we may be going to enforcement, which means we'll get fined if we don't enforce it. And it'll break our hearts to not allow people into the store, but I don't want to have to pay the fine either. So that might change by the end of this week. But right now, it's not finable if we don't have 100% compliance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That reminds me of a few points. Is San Juan County, I know, has had a lot of support from the county. They even helped with masks. And so as the governor's office is working on this, I've indicated those key elements. That first of all, they helped to make sure they had the supply of masks they need. And then secondly, that we need signage. And, we develop signage for all of you that says, you know, this was a governor mandate to wear a mask. But it's important when there's a requirement that he backs it up with signage that has that state seal on it and is in English and Spanish. So I've asked for that, and I said, when this is effective, we need to make sure that you have those signs that we can post so people know where this is coming from. So that's the other thing. I guess I would open it up for any questions. Anybody from Yakima who has questions or concerns on this?
It looks like Jeff Phillips had his hand up.
Oh, good. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, just a quick question for those who are requiring customers to wear a mask. Are you seeing the same people come to your stores without a mask that are requiring you to give them another mask? I mean, I'm just trying to get a feel for what percentage of your customers are actually responding, and then, you know, you might have to give them one mask initially and then they bring their mask the next time, or is it going to be a constant, you know, handing out of masks?
This is Kenna, and we ended up in the middle of all that mask nonsense a month ago with about 2,000 paper masks. So we just give them a paper mask, and less than $1. I did see one store that offered to give you bought the mask for $1. They gave you a refund when you checked out, but that was too complicated for us. So we just give them away.
Yeah. Are you seeing the same people asking for another mask, or are they saying, okay, you can do one and I'll bring mine the next time?
It's hard to say. You know, it's I'm not on the floor enough to be able to tell you there's a pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Jan, or you know, I guess just a question about this enforcement issue, because we have a store in Yakima. Obviously, we're going to try and do our best to abide with trying to get customers to wear a mask. You said it earlier that we're not in a position to be the enforcer, but there was a comment made about customers who sort of get very upset about that. And I'm a little worried about people who might take things into their own hands and create an altercation inside the store. Is the governor going to say anything or going to provide any kind of support whatsoever with regard to law enforcement? I think about Spokane County, which we get no support at all from our law enforcement with regard to shoplifting. I can't imagine that they're coming for a mask.
Right. Yeah, and that's the concern that I've raised is that we need support of law enforcement if we're going to make this work. You know, there's only so much that we can do. We can't enforce this. And we need that support. So I'm hoping that the governor's office is going to be working with Yakima Sheriff's Department and others and local authorities to see what kind of support. But you're right, we can't even get them on shoplifting. I don't see them being very active when somebody's not wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to do the best job we can do, and if we've got a customer that won't wear a mask in those mandated counties, place a call into law enforcement, let the people keep shopping after, you know, you've made the call, and that's the best you can do without endangering your employees. So
Yep.
if local law enforcement can't support you, then the governor needs to fix it.
Yeah, that's probably a really good point, Jan, or you know, Tammy, to keep track of those calls if you're making them to the local authorities, so that you have some backup if somebody decides they want to try and fine you, that you can actually say, hey, we've made calls on this, we've tried to do our very best to enforce this, but we're not going to take somebody down inside the store.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure and note that when I talk to the governor's office again.
And this is Rebecca. Jeff, just to Angie responded on the text box. I don't think she I think she lost her ability for her phone, but it says for us it's mostly different tourists that come in needing masks. So it sounds
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Good. Are there any other questions on the mask requirement? Okay, Jan.
Well, that that's the only updates we have for this week. As we said a couple weeks ago, things are, in terms of information flow, starting to slow down. But we're wondering what kind of issues you're facing that you need us to address here with the agencies. You're on the ground, tell us what you need and how we can help you. Does anybody have anything they want to raise now? You're all unmuted. Hopefully you are, right, Rebecca? They're unmuted so they can talk if they want.
I'm double checking right now, but as I go down the list, yes.
Okay.
I'm just kind of curious about the experience people are having with this requirement that paper masks be made available to employees who, for example, might be in a deli where they're working closer together than over time. Is anybody having a challenge around that issue besides getting the masks?
Wednesday the 8th.
All our staff are masked up and don't have a problem. There's a few wearing shields if they're uncomfortable with the mask, and that seems to be working okay.
Yeah, this is Mike Latham. Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Oh, good afternoon. A couple of things. With what was just stated, I wanted everyone to know that we have actually made the due diligence of having our people, those who could not wear masks and were going to wear the face shields as an alternative with a doctor's note. Many of them have gone to doctors, and doctors are just saying, I don't have time to deal with this, and no, I'm not going to give you a note. So I just wanted you to be aware that if you go to get that, you may not be able to get it because many doctors are just not taking the time to work with it. The other thing is Jan brought up something at the very beginning of this meeting, and I just wanted to throw some clarification out because all of you know that local county jurisdictions have and can overrule DOH or the Department of Health whenever information and guidelines are sent out. So I contacted all three departments where we have counties, and this is the update direct from their management. I spoke to Dana Catula, who is the program manager for Kitsap County. For those of you who may have something in Kitsap, they're going to follow to the letter all of the requirements that was sent out by DOH. So that means that salad bars, soup bars, everything will be able to reopen, including bulk departments with scooping. In talking to Chris Steiger, who is the program manager for Snohomish this morning, Chris made me aware that they made a decision that they're going to allow bulk and bakery to reopen, and if you have frozen seafood, to be able to have all of that back to self-service. They are going to hold off, though, until phase 3 to allow salad bars, hot bars, soup bars to reopen. So that is a different thing from what DOH actually sent out. And I'm the one that called Susan Jan to make her aware of that this morning. But I wanted to try and get all of them. And I just, right before this call, spoke to Ehab Manzaniga, who is heading up the COVID response program for King County Health Department, to find out where they were at this afternoon. And he made me aware that they most likely will follow what Snohomish is doing, but he's not sure yet. And they're still trying to decide on it. So it's still kind of up in the air for those of you with stores in King County that they're just not sure what they're going to do yet. So that's the one update I can give you from 3 counties.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, Susan mentioned that you had called her. So thanks for staying on top of that, and appreciate it. And as we get any official word, you all know we will get it posted on our website immediately. And Rebecca's been pretty good about information out to our members by county too. So,
Hey, do we ever see a police report?
So Are there any other?
I got your Alaska motor vehicle.
Can you mute that person, please, Rebecca?
I'm
You
I'm
have the
trying to
what?
find.
Alaska what?
Oh, okay.
This is Sandy from San Juan again.
Yep.
One of our biggest things right now is we're having troubles getting paper bags. We don't have paper bags anymore.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
we're getting short on plastic bags and waiting for official, L&I is kind of wavering, it seems, on their determination on yes or not with the reusable bags.
No, we did get word. Yes. Who?
You want me to hop in on this? It's David.
Oh, okay. You're kind of like in a barrel, Dave.
Sorry, it's the only microphone I have. We reallocated as of this morning some more truckloads to get up to make sure that the island stores have bags. We worked on that this morning with the different distributors, and so we're trying to take care of that.
Thank you.
Okay. And we did get, in fact, we had that posted last week, and Sandy, I'll have to go find it again in all these files we have. We are good now on reusable bags. You can allow reusable bags.
Okay.
So L&I and DOH are in agreement that you can let customers use them, and it's recommended that you have your customers bag their own groceries, but not mandated. So you do have clearance to take reusable bags, and they're very much aware the shortage is nationwide.
Okay.
So yeah.
That'll help for sure.
Yes, it sure will.
Yeah.
So Jan, we did get a note from David Martin that they are already seeing some coin restrictions in ocean shores.
Uh-huh. Okay, good to know. If anybody has any recommendations, I don't know if we can do a PSA or signage for you or anything of that sort, but it doesn't sound very promising in terms of inventory. So anything else? Any other problems, suggestions, questions?
Jan, this is Rebecca. I just have an update that I wanted to share while we're here.
Please.
We are, Kat and Tammy and Jan have been working on the candidate interviews for legislative candidates, and I've been sending out notices that we're doing the 30-minute Zoom interviews. So if you're interested in hearing from some of these candidates, please look out for these emails for some of the different districts. I know District 10 has gotten a few, District 30. So they are coming out. So just if you're interested in hearing from the candidates, keep an eye out for those emails.
Thanks, Rebecca. And a reminder that tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we will have a continuation of the e-commerce solutions for independent grocers and convenience stores. And tomorrow, Rosie's and a couple of their retailers, are in-state independent retailers, will be talking about their solutions. They'll have a half an hour, the e-commerce service they have through Rosie, and IGA, who's opened up their system to non-IGA stores. John Ross will be on the telephone on the webinar talking about that solution. And then we have had another request that we'll skip over 4th of July week, but bring you 2 other solutions that we believe are viable e-commerce solutions for independent grocers, and then that will end our series on e-commerce solutions. And hopefully between all that, you will find just a perfect solution for your business. So if you have any other suggestions on resources that we can help with, let us know. Okay, well, we're at countdown. We're done. We made it in 35 minutes, unless anybody has a final question, comment. Thank you very much, and please make sure you email us with the information that we've requested on WIC waiver products and coin shortages. That's a tongue twister. And thanks, Dave, for letting us know about Ocean Shores. Y'all have a good day, and hopefully we'll talk to most of you tomorrow afternoon on e-commerce solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy, Rebecca, everybody.